Hello. Yes, I did just get a haircut. I'm very excited about it. And today's video is going to be a little word of encouragement. I feel like I've been needing these words of encouragement. So if I need them, I know that other people will be able to relate. And there's probably people that are looking for exactly this video because they need to hear these words. I feel like we don't talk enough about how challenges are a variety, right? We have a variety of challenges. Some things day to day, some things impact our lives a lot. And I just want to give a word to encouragement. If you've ever felt like your problems or your challenges were too big, um, the kind of situation where you don't know if you could genuinely tell other people, where you're so embarrassed by the situation, by what people in your family are like, or by the people that you work with or your friends or people that you know, anything that it might be, your parents, yourself, even things that you're ashamed of or embarrassed about. I just want to remind you that you're not alone, okay? And I think that sometimes in those situations you feel like I'm the only person on planet Earth that has to deal with something like this. And it seems unfair. And honestly, yeah, maybe it is unfair. But the fact that you're still persevering and working through it really goes to show something. And it's a really powerful thing, honestly. It is genuinely making you so resilient and so strong. And yeah, there's things that, like I always say, like, people, you are the one that could handle your problems. That's why God gave you your problems. There are other people that couldn't even imagine the things that you have gone through, the things that you have to deal with. And this is a really sad thing because you would think, at least I can tell my parents about it. I can tell my friends. I can tell my therapist. I understand that there are things that are so heavy sometimes that you're like, I feel like I genuinely have no one to share this with. It feels like such a secret. It feels like such a burden. It feels like I'm covering for other people. Oh my God. I've spent most of my life feeling like that, feeling like I had to protect other people, and the only way to protect them was allow harmful things to happen and then me just act like they didn't or hide them away. And that's no way to live, honestly. I never want anyone's chosen life to end up like that because, yeah, there's going to be situations that we're placed in and we can't necessarily avoid those situations. But as adults, like, as soon as we have that freedom and that power, like, please take it when you can. And again, I'm just sharing these words with you because I've felt so alone at times and I've felt like no one could understand exactly what it is I'm going through, or I have to protect people, or people would get the bad impression of someone around me if I told them, or all of these things that we think. And I've actually been kind of on a hunt asking some of my friends this. I've been asking them, are there things that are so big for you that you would just like not be able to talk to me about? Because we've all been in that situation where we confide in someone and we're like, this is so heavy for me, I need to share it with someone else. But then that person ends up taking it really poorly, or they're like, I don't know what to say, or they just don't say anything, and you end up feeling worse. You're like, okay, I might as well have not said anything to begin with. And that's no way to live. That's no way to encourage community around us or to be one with that vulnerability and be able to share ourselves and talk about those things. So, if you've ever, sorry if it's loud, if you've ever experienced any of those things, I just want you to feel like you're not alone, okay? And and again, I know that there are things that seem so heavy, maybe it's a certain relationship, like your parents' relationship that's going south, and you just can't deal with the emotional maturity that your parents are supposed to have, but you feel like you have and they don't even have that. Or issues at work, or situations with families, or covering up things that just aren't okay. Like, I just understand it, and I just, again, want to emphasize over and over that you're not alone and you shouldn't feel like you're alone because honestly, a lot of people have to deal with very, very heavy things. And it's sad because we don't usually end up talking about them until we're past them, until that phase of our lives has ended, which is good because, like we say, everything is cyclical, everything will end. Like, the good, the bad, everything will have its end naturally. So even if you're in that waiting period of this feels so heavy, I'm in it so deeply right now, just know you're not always going to be in it, okay? I promise you you're not. It doesn't matter, again, if it's good or bad. Nothing in life is ever going to stay the same. It is constantly moving, it is constantly flowing. Think about the earth. Every single day, even though it doesn't feel like it, every single day the earth is spinning around you. And sometimes you don't realize it until, you know, it's nighttime or it's daytime and you're like, whoa, the whole day went by. How did that happen so fast? But it's like these tiny micro moments of movement that create big forces to happen. That's what we see even like in our year. Our solar system goes around the sun. It takes 365 days to do that. But then somehow we make it. At the beginning of the year, you're like, I can't even envision what my life will be in the next year. And then it happens. And then it comes faster than you might realize. So just know that any period that you're going through is also passive. And this should be an encouragement to you, because for the longest time, I always felt like happiness was the biggest part of life. Like that was supposed to be your goal, to be happy. And the more I've grown up, I've realized I really feel like the emphasis, the importance of life is being present. And of course, we're not going to want to be present in things that are frustrating or feel difficult to deal with. Like that's not going to sound fun. And I'm not saying it has to be fun in any whatsoever way, but just know that anything that does come up in your life is trying to teach you something. It is trying to teach you skills. So many times too, as an adult, I've felt the consequences of my childhood. Again, like in my childhood, I grew up being very hush hush, like don't tell anyone that this stuff is happening, for your own safety, for your parents' safety, for, your school, for whatever it is around you. And that has transferred to adulthood, where now I'm like, I have the hardest time sometimes standing up for myself or just communicating things or standing up when something is not right. And it's a tricky thing. It really is. But again, I'm just here to encourage you and tell you that there's nothing too big. There's nothing that you're going through that other people, that like no human has ever experienced. That literally doesn't exist. I know. It might feel like it. It might feel like no one has ever had to deal with something like this, but I promise you people have. And those people get through it, and you will get through it too. I will get through it. I will get through things in my life. And the more guilt and shame that we shape around these situations that happen, honestly, it's just going to turn our heart so dark. It's going to turn it into a place where we can't be vulnerable at all, where we can't share our experiences, where we can't open up to people. And don't ever let the discouragement of, telling someone something and then they didn't receive it well stop you from doing it again, from reaching out to more people. I honestly think the biggest thing is to never keep anything just with you. Never keep anything that's just inside of you. I'm not saying you had to tell the whole world, but you should. They're like, I really don't think that there are things that you should just keep all to yourself. You need to have an outlet. And again, I've even felt this with therapists in the past. And you might be saying, like, what are you talking about? A therapist is supposed to be anyone you can say anything to. Which, of course, that's what a therapist is. I can be completely open and vulnerable, but there are still things that feel so heavy where I'm like, I don't know if you could ever relate to some of the stuff I've been through. But just like you're saying that, they're probably saying the exact same thing. They're probably saying, oh my God, I could never tell this person this because they would just not understand what I'm saying. They've led such a different life than me. So it's just your word of encouragement that you don't need to, I don't know, you don't need to look after these things. You don't need to try to be the biggest victim or the biggest martyr. It's not about that either. Because again, this will pass. So do not let this be your identity. Do not let this be something that forces you. And a lot of times, too, like what really captures us in these difficult times and these challenges are genuinely the fact that we just have a lot of anxious feelings around them. So when we're anxious about something, we're taking every worst case scenario and we're living it in our minds right now. And the bad thing is when we do that, we're living so completely not in the present. We're living in an alternate future that doesn't exist. And if you believe in manifestation and all of those things, you will know the more that you're thinking about something, even if it is bad, even if it's not something that you want, you are calling it towards you. So just check your thoughts as to how you're perceiving it. Find the good. There's always good in these things. It really does. Like look at some of the people that have been through some of the hardest things in their lives, and they're the ones that have published these outstanding books. They're the ones that are going all over the world and have become famous because of the trials and tribulations that they were able to work through. These things are real. They really do happen every single day. And again, like the more that we're able to share it, or the more that you just feel connected, like a connected human being, that everyone goes through this, you'll realize that that is the reality of the world, you know? It is up and down, and that's supposed to be life. That's supposed to test your soul. That's why you're here. You're here to expand, right? Sometimes you might look at people and be envious or jealous of the fact that why do they have such an easy life? Like, why can't my life just be like theirs? But you don't know, first of all, what it is that they're going through. And second off, even if they are leading a very, very simple, easy life, first of all, you encouraging that will bring that closer to you. And last thing is, sometimes those people aren't here to really elevate their soul. You know, maybe this time around, they just kind of needed to take a seat. They needed to take things easy. Sometimes, like, I really do believe that. And if you believe in reincarnation and stuff like that, you may think that, like, coming back once and once again, you know, to live these different kinds of lives, you might think too, maybe this time around it's supposed to be easier. Maybe next time I'm really going to have to deal with difficult things. So don't take it as a discouragement. Take it as encouragement. The more that you see people living these happy, easy going, easy flowing lives, stay with that. Even if it feels like it's not fair, it's better for you to call in their happiness, their joy, their ease, rather than you trying to implement your harshness and your struggle and your challenge on them. Make the world a more peaceful place. Don't try to make everyone go through the struggles and challenges that you're going through. So I hope that those words encouraged you a little bit. Sorry if it was a little noisy, but yeah, I just really needed to get that off my chest, and I hope that resonated. So with all that being said, thanks for watching today's video, and I'll see you in the next one.